The 7 hidden laws of the universe. Hermetic wisdom and the Kybalion. The origins of Hermetic philosophy and the Kybalion. For those who seek to understand the workings of the universe and uncover the profound mysteries of life, Hermetic teachings have served as one of the cornerstones of the path to wisdom for thousands of years. These teachings contain esoteric knowledge passed down from ancient Egyptian and Greek cultures to the present day. Hermetic wisdom takes its name from Hermès Trismégiste, a figure whose origins reach back to ancient Egypt. Hermes is a legendary sage, often identified with Thoth, the god of wisdom, writing, and magic. His teachings were compiled into texts known as the Hermetica, which have laid the foundation for many esoteric traditions. One of the most important texts of Hermetic philosophy is the Kybalion, a mysterious work published in 1908 under the pseudonym The Three Initiates. This book, drawing on the wisdom of Hermès Trismégiste, presents the 7 Hermetic principles that explain the fundamental laws and workings of the universe. These laws help us comprehend the nature of the cosmos and empower us to lead more conscious lives by enhancing our individual awareness. So, what are these 7 laws, and how do they affect our lives? Let's explore them together. 1. The principle of mentalism, law of mentalism. The universe is mental. Everything originates from the mind. According to this principle, everything is created by a cosmic mind. The universe is a reflection of our consciousness, and our thoughts shape our reality. In other words, the physical world is actually a projection formed at a higher level of consciousness. The human mind is also a part of this universal mind. Our power of thought is the most important factor guiding our lives. When we understand the power of our thoughts, we realize that we can create our own reality. Through positive thinking and creative mental power, we can shape our lives. In short, if we learn to control our mind, we can consciously direct our lives. Now, let's accept that we are inside a simulation and consider an example. We mentioned that the principle of mentalism is based on the understanding that everything is mental. The universe is a mind. That is, reality is actually a reflection created by the mind. To grasp this principle, let's think of an extraordinary and striking example. Imagine that you are an artificial intelligence character inside a video game. At first, you perceive your surroundings as physical and absolute realities. Buildings, roads, the sky, and other characters. But at some point, you realize that everything is a product of code. Every action, every event, and even your thoughts are controlled by a software program. This awareness takes you to a higher level. You comprehend that the universe has a nature different from what you initially thought. The laws of physics may apply in the game world, but they are just predetermined rules set by code. This is precisely what the law of mentalism describes. The reality we live in is also like a simulation created by the mind. This understanding shows that what we call reality is not rigid or unchangeable. When we realize that our thoughts, beliefs, and conscious awareness shape our world, we stop being just players and become creators who can change the rules of the game. 2. The principle of correspondence, law of correspondence. As above, so below. As below, so above. This law expresses the harmony between the microcosm, individual world, and the macrocosm, the universe. There is a parallel between the grand order of the universe and the inner world of an individual. A certain structure and similarity exist at every level of nature. The laws of nature apply both on a universal scale and in personal life. Changes we make within ourselves also create reflections in the external world. Even the structure of atoms resembles the movement of galaxies. Recognizing the connection between human consciousness and the universe opens the doors to spiritual growth. The law of correspondence and the recurring universe. The hidden universe within the microcosm, one of the most famous expressions of Hermetic philosophy states, as above, so below. This tells us that the universe exhibits similar structures at different scales. In other words, big and small things operate according to the same fundamental principles. Now, let's explain this with an unconventional example. Could a whole galaxy exist inside an atom? Imagine you are a scientist looking through an incredibly powerful microscope at an atom. You observe the electrons orbiting the nucleus. Then, you suddenly pause and think, this structure looks so much like a planet revolving around a star. Now, Let's reverse the perspective. If electrons within an atom move just like planets, could it be possible that a being far greater than us looks at our universe and sees it as nothing more than a giant atom? This thought is one of the most striking reflections of the principle of correspondence. The similarity between atomic structure and the arrangement of galaxies suggests that the universe has a fractal and self-repeating nature. The small reflects the large, just like how an entire ocean can be hidden within a single drop of water. This principle applies not only to the physical world but also to all aspects of life. Our thoughts, spiritual state, and energy are reflections of a greater order that shapes our reality. When we transform our inner world, it is no coincidence that our external world changes as well, because the universe creates a perfect mirroring between the inner and the outer. 3. The principle of vibration, law of vibration. Nothing rests. Everything moves, everything vibrates. According to this principle, everything vibrates at a certain frequency. Every particle in the universe is in constant motion and vibration. Our thoughts, emotions, bodies, and levels of consciousness are all part of these vibrations. The material world is essentially composed of energy forms vibrating at specific frequencies. Positive thoughts that vibrate at a high frequency allow us to reach a higher level of consciousness. To improve our lives, we must learn to raise our energy and frequency. Positive thoughts produce high-frequency vibrations, while negative thoughts create low-frequency vibrations. The law of vibration and parallel realities. Change your frequency, change your life. Nothing is motionless. Everything vibrates. According to Hermetic teachings, the law of vibration states that everything in the universe vibrates at a certain frequency. Everything, from our thoughts to our emotions, from the material world to spiritual reality, is made up of energy, and this energy is in constant motion. So how can we see an unusual example of this in our daily lives? Choosing reality like a radio frequency. Think of a radio. When you tune in to different frequencies, you hear completely different music, conversations, and broadcasts. If you set your frequency to 90.0 FM, you can't hear the broadcast on 95.5 FM, right? Because although both exist at the same time, they vibrate at different frequencies. Now, apply this to your life. Suppose you are constantly thinking negatively, believing that everything is going wrong. In this case, you are behaving exactly like a radio tuned to a negative frequency. As a result, you attract similar low vibration events, people, and situations into your life. However, if you consciously change your vibration, for example, by practicing gratitude, thinking with love, and engaging in positive actions, just like changing a radio frequency, you will begin to experience an entirely different reality. Even though you are in the same world, you will encounter new opportunities, people, and events. That is why our reality is not fixed. We experience the world that matches the frequency we align with. The universe is a vast ocean of energy, and we are beings creating waves within it. 4. The principle of polarity, law of polarity. Everything has two poles. Everything has its pair of opposites. Similar and opposite are the same, but differing in degree. This law states that everything in the universe has an opposite, and that these opposites are actually different extremes of the same phenomenon. Concepts such as light and darkness, hot and cold, good and evil, love and hate are two sides of the same whole. The existence of opposites gives us the freedom to make choices, and balancing them is essential for conscious existence. By understanding opposites and achieving inner balance, we can act with awareness. The law of polarity and the dark matter paradox. What did the Kybalion say? Everything exists with its opposite. Heat and cold, light and darkness, love and fear. Opposites are actually different degrees of the same thing. The Hermetic law of polarity states that everything in the universe has an opposite, but these opposites are actually the extreme points of the same essence. For example, hot and cold are different degrees on a thermometer. Love and hate are different poles of the same emotional energy. But is there an unconventional and scientific example of this principle? Yes. Here's an example. Dark matter and the invisible universe paradox. Did you know that 95% of the universe is invisible? physicists have discovered the existence of a mysterious force called dark matter and dark energy in the universe. However, we cannot directly observe these substances. We can only see their effects. So why do we relate this to the law of polarity? Because without dark matter, visible matter could not take shape. Galaxies and stars hold together due to the influence of this invisible force. If only visible matter existed, the universe would fall into chaos, and the order we know today would not exist. This shows us that everything exists and gains meaning through its opposite. The visible exists thanks to the invisible. Light can only be recognized because darkness exists. Happiness only gains meaning when we experience sadness. Hot and cold are simply different degrees on the same thermometer. In conclusion, the law of polarity is one of the fundamental operating principles of the universe and serves as a great guide for us to understand the balance of all experiences in our lives. The secrets of the universe are hidden in the balance of opposites. 5. The principle of rhythm, law of cycles and balance. Everything flows in and out. Everything has its rhythm. Every rise has a fall. This law states that everything in the universe moves according to a certain rhythm. Life is full of ups and downs. In nature, life, and the universe, everything moves within cycles. We experience cycles of happiness and sadness, success and failure, growth and decline. Tides, seasons, life and death, expansion and contraction. These cycles form the foundation of the universe. Understanding this law helps us accept the ups and downs of life and see change as a natural process. By recognizing this rhythm and living in harmony with it, we can maintain inner peace. The law of rhythm and the great cycles of history. Let's begin with a quote from the Kybalion. Everything flows, rises, and falls. Everything in the universe follows a rhythm. The one who understands this can transcend its effects. The Hermetic principle of rhythm states that everything in the universe follows a cycle. Just as the tides rise and fall, human emotions swing between happiness and sadness. Civilizations rise and fall, seasons change, and history repeats itself. Now, let's explain this law with an unusual example. The great cycles of history and the rise and fall of civilizations. Have you ever noticed that great civilizations rise and fall in similar cycles? It's as if history keeps repeating itself. Ancient Egypt, Rome, the Ottoman Empire, the Maya civilization, and today's superpowers, all have reached their peak only to eventually decline. According to this principle, civilizations go through the following rhythmic cycle. 1. Birth, chaos and foundation. Civilizations are often born out of crises or wars. 2. Rise, golden age. Science, art, and technology flourish. Prosperity increases. 3. Maturity, peak point. The civilization reaches its most powerful state, but at this point, the seeds of decline are also sown. 4. Decline, deterioration. Internal conflicts, economic crises, and social chaos begin. 5. Collapse, chaos and rebirth. A major war, pandemic, or economic collapse leads to the downfall of the civilization, and the cycle starts again. To see how the law of rhythm has shaped history, we can look at theories like Oswald Spengler's The Decline of the West and Peter Turchin's historical cycles theory. How can we apply this to our lives? If you understand the law of rhythm, you can consciously navigate the cycles of rise and fall in your own life. By accepting that success and failure, happiness and sadness shift like the seasons, you can handle difficult times with more awareness. Instead of being swept away by life's rhythm, you can learn to flow with it. Remember, every fall is the beginning of a new rise. 6. The principle of cause and effect, law of karma and causality. Every cause has an effect. Every effect has a cause. According to this principle, nothing in the universe happens by chance. This law states that nothing occurs randomly and that there is an absolute cause and effect relationship in the universe. Every action we take has a consequence. And the most important factor shaping our future is the choices we make right now. By making conscious decisions, we can shape our own destiny. Positive choices lead to positive results. This law teaches us that we must take personal responsibility and that our fate is in our hands. The law of cause and effect and the butterfly effect. Let's start with another Kybalion quote. Every cause has an effect, and every effect has a cause. There are no coincidences. The principle of cause and effect states that every event is triggered by a specific cause. Even a small action can lead to unexpected and significant consequences. Now, let's explain this principle with an unusual example. The butterfly effect, and how a tiny mouse changed millions of lives. In 1949, in a small town in Canada, a farm mouse sneaked into a grain storage area and gnawed on a few grains. A small incident, right? But this mouse went unnoticed and carried a disease-ridden flea into the grain supply. These fleas multiplied rapidly, and within months, one of the largest typhus outbreaks in history began. As a result of this epidemic, thousands of people became ill and lost their lives. An economic crisis hit as agricultural production declined. Due to food shortages, Canada and the US had to implement major policies. A tiny mouse's small action ended up altering the fate of thousands of people. This is a perfect example of the law of cause and effect. Even the smallest cause can set off a chain reaction. How can we use this in our own lives? Recognize that your small actions today can have enormous long-term consequences. Make conscious and positive choices to create beneficial outcomes. Understand that every result in your life is a reflection of a previous choice you made. A single step you take today can completely change your future. Never forget that. 7. The principle of gender, masculine-feminine energy, the law of creation. Everything has both masculine and feminine principles. Gender is present in all planes. This law states that beyond physical gender, all energies in the universe contain both masculine and feminine principles. Masculine energy is active, creative, and outward-moving, while feminine energy is receptive, nurturing, and inward-focused. When these two energies are balanced, the highest level of creative power is achieved. Spiritual development is only possible by balancing the masculine and feminine energies within us. Balancing these two forces in all aspects of life is crucial for inner harmony and spiritual growth. The principle of gender, masculine-feminine energy, the law of creation, and zero-point energy. Let's continue our approach with another quote from the Kybalion. Everything contains both masculine and feminine energy. Creation occurs through the interaction of these two forces. In Hermetic philosophy, the principle of gender is not just about biological sex. Everything and everyone contains both feminine, receiving, intuition, fertility, chaos, and masculine, giving, logic, order, movement, energy. The harmony between these two energies allows for creation and transformation. Shall we explain this principle with an unconventional example? Zero-point energy and the birth of the universe. Scientists once believed that space was a completely empty void. However, quantum physics revealed a different truth. Zero-point energy. This is an invisible yet real energy. Even in apparent emptiness, feminine, potential, and masculine, motion energy constantly vibrate. And the most fascinating part? This vibration causes new particles to emerge. Just as the universe was born from the Big Bang, masculine energy, movement, and the potential within it, feminine energy, fertility. All creation arises from the fusion of these two forces. How can you apply this to your life? Relying only on logic, masculine, or only on intuition, feminine, creates imbalance. If you want to create something new, be creative, or change your life, you need to balance both energies. Start with feminine energy, imagination, feeling, then use masculine energy, action, to bring it to reality. Remember, every idea begins as feminine energy, potential, and then materializes through masculine energy, application. Just like the creation of the universe. The deep secret of Hermetic laws. Universal balances in life. As we have seen, the Hermetic laws are not just theoretical philosophies. They are ancient truths about the workings of the universe. Our mind shapes reality, the principle of mentalism. The macrocosm and microcosm mirror each other, the principle of correspondence. Everything is in constant motion, the principle of vibration. Opposites complement each other, the principle of polarity. Everything in nature follows cycles, the principle of rhythm. Every action has a consequence, the principle of cause and effect. And creation is only possible through the balance of masculine and feminine energies, the principle of gender. Applying Hermetic wisdom to our lives. The 7 Hermetic principles are not just theoretical concepts but powerful guides for living consciously. Understanding these laws allows us to control our thoughts. Mentalism. Keep your thoughts positive and focused. Align with the universe. Correspondence. Transform your outer world by changing your inner world. Raise our vibrational frequency. Vibration. Use meditation and music to spread positive energy. Balance opposites. Polarity. Recognize opposites and strive for balance. Accept life cycles. Rhythm. Embrace life's ups and downs without resistance. Make conscious choices. Cause and effect. Take responsibility for your actions and decisions. Balance our masculine and feminine energies. Gender. Harmonize your inner masculine and feminine energies. Conclusion. Unlocking the secrets of the universe. The Hermetic laws are powerful tools for understanding how the universe operates. Comprehending and applying these teachings will help us become more conscious, balanced, and empowered individuals. These principles bring greater awareness, balance, and meaning to our lives. The Kybalion's teachings are not just theories. They serve as a guide for conscious living. Ultimately, unlocking the secrets of the universe means becoming the architect of our own lives. As we internalize and apply this knowledge, we will realize that our destiny is not solely shaped by external forces, but that we, too, are its creators. That is true gnosis, wisdom. Remember, true knowledge is not just knowing, it is living it. When we open our eyes and incorporate these principles into our lives, we begin to uncover the infinite wisdom the universe has to offer. Now, you are starting to see the truth beyond the veil. The doors to hidden gnosis are opening for you. Are you ready to discover the truth? And in the end, for those seeking the truth, the veil is beginning to lift. Never forget, the real truth is you. So, what do you think about these 7 principles? Which one do you feel the most in your daily life? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you would like to see more presentations like this, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and leave a like. Thank you for your interest. Take care and stay well.